You're watching Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. You can join the conversation right now on X using the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. Remember to tag at TVC News On. Now, the federal government has issued a warning to foreign powers to stay out of the country's internal affairs. The warning, it says, is not just about the current protests, but also about the general principle of non-interference in domestic affairs. We have more details from the briefing with the international community in this report.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs says the fake news and misinformation circulating in the social media over the protest in Nigeria has made it necessary to address the diplomatic community. Both Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Information speak to the efforts and economic policies of President Tinubu as they assure the diplomatic community of government's commitment to democracy and development.
A compressed natural gas initiative to power the transportation economy and bring costs down. This will save the country over 2 trillion naira a month, being used to import premium motor spirits.
We want members of the diplomatic community to understand that critical reform that the administration has embarked upon were likely to bring hardship. But this hardship was only temporary, and as with every good policy, it will take some time to mature.
They assured the diplomats that government investment in healthcare, transportation, housing and youth development will bring a new turn in Nigeria.
It is pertinent to remind us that no nation tolerates foreign interference in its domestic affairs and that of its citizens. Nigeria is not an exception. The government will take appropriate action against any foreign entity residing in Nigeria that is found to have directly or indirectly supported the protesters by whatever means.
Comments from the British High Commissioner and America's ambassador recognized and appreciated government's efforts as some sought clarification on the fate of the 7 arrested Polish nationals and those on watch list.
It is not a targeted operation at Polish citizens, not at all.
The DSS pleaded with the international community to avoid allowing their countries to be used as a launchpad to cause instability in Nigeria. The Minister of Foreign Affairs says Nigeria will not encourage political opportunism from Nigeria against any country and therefore solicit the support of the diplomatic community against political opportunism. Moya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Joining me now is security expert Judo Meje for more on this development. The Nigerian government speaking tough there, addressing the diplomatic community, emphasizing the general principle of non-interference in domestic matters. Many have talked about the implication of what we've seen, the display of foreign flags by protesters in the past few days. What do you make of this move by the federal government? Mr. Omeje.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening. But I didn't quite get the question. It's not quite audible.
I'm asking your thoughts on the move by the federal government, strictly warning the diplomatic community about interfering in Nigeria's internal affairs.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very well then. I think it's within the rights. I mean, the federal government have all the rights, all the responsibility, and all the commitment to make such, clarification and, of course, issue such warning. Despite the fact that many Nigerians are quite unhappy about the current economic hardship and had to, call for protests, it is quite concerning that we saw what we saw. Never in my widest imagination would I expect that, Nigerians will begin to fly foreign flags as a form of protest. So Nigerian government is well within its right to make such expressions, and then, of course, warn whoever is culpable, whoever is part of such, a very, very strange moves. Nigeria is an independent country. We are a sovereign nation. We are not to be toyed with. Any anybody found culpable, be him a Nigerian or a foreigner, as being supportive of that particular very very annoying behavior by some of Nigerians, some of those ones who saw on TV, should be apprehended and then dealt with in accordance with our law. We are a sovereign nation, and nobody should interfere whatsoever. This is not a banana republic. This is not one of those little Sahel countries that some of these countries toy around. Nigeria is the powerhouse of West Africa, and we deserve some respect. So I agree with the federal government that on no account should any national, be him Westerner or within the Eastern Bloc, interfere, or sponsor any miscreant to fly foreign flag. It is quite abominable.
Indeed.
And quite condemnable.
And we've also heard from the Russian embassy saying that it doesn't support or coordinate the activities of those waving its flags in Nigeria. Do you think it is clear, what is behind all of this? A matter of ignorance or a coordinated action by some unscrupulous elements?
I do not think it's just about ignorance. Of course, you know that those kids that were flying those flags did not just, procure the flags on their own. There must be somebody behind that. And this is where we leave it to our national intelligence asset to uncover the whoever is behind that. And look, if you put into consideration the geopolitics in the Sahel region, the dynamics there, and the fact that you have a very volatile Sahel region as we speak. Of course, you know that in Nigeria Republic, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, you have this shift in Western influence towards the Russian and Chinese influence. So we do not want such thing now. We do not want to be mad in their geopolitics. We do not want to be mad in whatever they're interested in. We want a stable Nigeria. We want a respectable Nigeria. We want a country that do not pander to such interference. So I'm not satisfied with that explanation. But in any case, like I said, this is where our intelligence asset comes in. The intelligence needs to uncover who is behind this, very, very provocative development. It is not acceptable to Nigerians, and I think that Nigerians stand in unison to condemn it. Even those who organize the protests, I'm sure they are not happy about the development, because this is not what nobody bargained for that. Nigeria is not a banana country. Nigeria is not one of those little countries that any country can fly a flag and then try to determine, or rather influence any regime change. It's not possible, right?
Indeed. And I agree with you to the extent that Nigeria is non-aligned and we do business with the West and every other part of the world and not interfere with the geopolitics of things. But paint to us what the potential risks are of foreign interference in Nigeria's internal affairs, and how do you think it can be mitigated?
Apart from the fact that it's actually an infringement on our sovereignty, it's also an insult to our our respectability as a nation, of an independent nation. And of course, in terms of security-wise, you see, if we allow this thing to, and this calls to question. This brings the issue of our porous border. If the Sahel region, like I've said before, is a very volatile region now, and of course the fact that we have a very porous border along that axis, Niger Republic and all that, where you see some kind of diffusion of, cultural diffusion, and of course, the propinquity between the two countries, it becomes something that should be worrisome. So I think that the government must go beyond this particular. They must fortify our borders, especially that axis, to make sure that there's no such influence. Because I want to believe that those children, those kids that were flying those flags, who of course do not know what the implications are, they are influenced by the Nigerian nationals who are currently in romance with Russia. So we do not want such things. Nigeria, except we make it official that we are now identifying with Russian power bloc.
Mr. Meji, you look at those
policy, but for now, we are more or less not aligned.
If you can hear me.
We should not, for any reason, stampede into the Sahel region geopolitics.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed. Many of the people carrying these flags are even children, and you wonder.
I'm not hearing you. It's not audible anymore.
Oh, you can't hear me, Mr. Omeje. Can you hear me now?
Okay, a little bit better.
Well, I'm asking that when you look at the footages, many of the people carrying these flags are minors, and you wonder whether or not they even understand the implication of what they are doing. But how can the federal government engage with these misguided people and, address their grievances without allowing foreign influence to dictate the narrative?
Very important question. In all of this, we should always be interested in what we call root cause analysis. What actually led to this, where we find ourselves now? It is because of bad governance, not just at the national level, but at sub-national level. People are actually hungry. There's a level of deprivation and destitution in our polity that this is the natural outcome. So we need to begin to think about our governance, paradigm. Are we going to consider good governance, or are we going to stay, be mired in this ineptitude and corruption that have made it possible for a whole population to be hungry? Nigerians are hungry, and a hungry man is an angry man. And of course, you know that a hungry man listens more to the rumblings in his stomach than any preachment of patriotism. So if you're talking about patriotism and asking nobody to fly Russian flag, you get to make sure that they have food to eat. Otherwise, anybody who provides food for them, they tend to listen easier to the person. So including those who want to do what we call sovereign intervention. So those who are interested in sovereign intervention know what they use to lure those people into their fold. So that is why I say good governance is like the magic wand with which you can, actually rein in on the situation. Because if you continue to deprive, render Nigerians so hungry, so prostrate, so hopeless, then expect this thing as a fallout. So we must look at the root cause analysis and then take it from there.
AJ, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. We'll take a short break and we'll be back, everyone. Stay with us.